Good morning, children. Welcome to today's session. In our previous English class, we learned perfect tense in grammar. In our today's class, we are going to learn a story, The Girl on the Train, from Communicative English book. All turn to page number 34 in the Communicative English book, The Girl on the Train. Let's get started. I was travelling by train to Dehradun. It was a first class compartment and up to Rampur. I was alone in it. Then a girl got on. The couple seeing her off were probably her parents. They seemed very anxious about her comfort and safety. The woman gave the girl detailed instruction as to how she should bear herself during the journey. She told her where to keep her things so that they were not lost. She bade her not to lean out of the window. Particularly, she asked her to avoid speaking to strangers. Bear herself means behave or act. As I was blind, I could not tell what the girl looked like, but I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. She laughed as she talked and I liked the sound of her voice. "Are you going to Dehradun?" I asked her as the train pulled out of the station. The setting of the story is very simple and interesting. Everything happens in the train compartment and the time chosen is October when Mussoorie looks beautiful. Here, everything is narrated by the person who is blind. The blind young man was travelling to Dehradun by train where he comes across a girl. She was escorted by her parents. The narrator listened as the couple sends their daughter off on the train. He carefully observed the precautions being given to her by her parents. He gradually found enough courage to start a conversation with the girl and asked where she was going. I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, "I didn't know anyone else was here in the compartment." "I too didn't see you at first," I said, "but I heard you come in." I wondered if I could be able to prevent the girl from discovering that I was blind. I thought to myself, if I keep to my seat, she won't perhaps know of it. "I'm getting down at Saharanpur," the girl said. "My aunt shall come to receive me at the station." "Where are you going?" "To Dehradun and then to Mussoorie," I replied. Startled means caused a sudden surprise. The narrator wanted to prevent the girl from discovering that he was blind. So he thought of sitting on the seat without moving much. The girl said that she was going till Saharanpur where she would be received by her aunt. She inquired the same from the narrator who told her about his visit to Dehradun and Mussoorie. "Oh, lucky you!" exclaimed the girl. "I wish I too were going to Mussoorie. I love the mountains, especially in October." "Yes, this is the best time," I said, recalling my memories when I could see. "The hills are covered with beautiful wildflowers. It is pleasant during the day and the sun is delicious. At night, you can sit in front of a log fire and drink a little brandy." She didn't say anything in reply. For quite a while, there was silence. I wondered if my words had offended her. Perhaps she was thinking of me as a romantic fool. Meaning for log fire is fire made by burning wooden logs. Offended means insulted, or upset. Romantic fool means a romantic fool is a person who allows his feeling of love to override his common sense. She expressed a sign of joy and said that she also loved the mountains of Missouri in October. So the narrator started recollecting his memories from the days where he had good eyesight. He started describing the beauty of the hills and flowers as the conversation continued. Then I made a mistake. What is it like outside? I asked. This question did not surprise her. Had she noticed that I couldn't see? But I felt reassured when she asked quite naturally, "Why don't you look out of the window?" I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it. I made a pretense of studying the landscape. Felt reassured means became confident again. Ledge means narrow shelf underneath the window. Pretense means false show. By mistake, he asked her a question of how it looked outside the train. She quickly responded saying that he should have to look outside himself. There is a real humor in the narrator's attempt to conceal his blindness. In my mind's eye, I could see the telegraph post flashing by. "Have you noticed?" I said with confidence, "that the trees seem to be moving while we seem to be still?" "That always happens," she said. I turned from the window and faced the girl for a while. We sat in silence. "You have an interesting face," I commented. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls would mind anything said in their praise. He then complimented the girl by saying that her face was interesting. The fact that he considers that the woman has an interesting face suggests that the narrator is attempting to look intelligent in front of the woman rather than praising her for her beauty as most men would do. She laughed pleasantly. It was a clear, ringing laugh. "It's nice to be told that," she said. "I'm so tired of people telling me that I have a pretty face." "So you do have a pretty face," I said to myself. And then I said aloud, "Well, an interesting face can be a pretty face also." She felt delighted for such a remark, as all others said that she had a pretty face. He then added saying, "Well, an interesting face can be pretty too." He tactfully hides his blindness from the girl. "You are very witty," she said. "Have you a watch? What time is it?" "We'll be soon at your station," I replied. "Thank goodness. It's a short journey," she said. "I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours." But I was prepared to sit there with her for any length of time. I could never be tired of listening to her talking. Her voice had the sparkle of a mountain brook. As soon as she left the train, she would forget our brief encounter, but its sweetness would stay with me for the rest of the journey. All my present thoughts were centered round her. Thank goodness means an expression of relief. Sparkle means cheerfulness. Brook means small stream. Encounter means a sudden meeting. "You are very witty," the girl said. Witty means using words in a clever way. Witty means using words in a clever way. She claimed that she did not like long train journeys and was glad that her station was arriving soon. The narrator, however, was heartbroken as he wanted the journey with the girl to never end. The engine gave a whistle, the carriage wheels changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up to collect her things. I wondered if she wore her hair in a bun or if she had a ponytail. I wondered if it hung down loose over her shoulders or if it was cut very short. The train drew slowly into the station. Outside there was the shouting of porters and vendors. A high-pitched female voice was heard near the carriage door. It must have been the girl's aunt there. "Goodbye," said the girl. Meaning for bun is hair tied into a knot at the back of the head. She was standing very close to me. She was so close that I could smell the perfume from her hair. I stood up from my seat. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair, but she moved away. Only the perfume still lingered where she had stood. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man who was getting into the compartment spoke some words in apology. Then the door banged shut and I turned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle and the train moved off. Lingered means stayed for a long time. Soon the station arrived, and as the girl prepared to exit, the narrator could sense the smell of the fragrance she was wearing and was curious to know what hairstyle she had. He tried to touch her hair, but the girl said her goodbye and left before he could. The narrator, that is the young blind man, wanted to touch the young woman's hair as though he was attempting to paint a picture of the young woman for himself based on what she had said to him and from the smell of the perfume she wore. And soon after her departure, a new male passenger entered the compartment. Slowly the train gathered speed. The wheels took up their song. The carriage groaned and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it. I started staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. Once again, I had a game to play and a new companion. Groaned means made a harsh creaking sound. "I'm sorry," said the passenger, trying to make conversation. "I'm not as attractive a companion as the one who just left." "She was an interesting girl," I said. "Can you tell me whether she had long hair or short?" "I didn't notice," he replied, sounding puzzled. "It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair. She had such beautiful eyes, but they were of no use to her. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice?" Feeling dejected, the narrator pushed himself towards the window again. The new passenger did not realize the narrator's lack of vision, much like the girl. The passenger, in order to start a conversation, offered his consolation for not being as pretty as the last passenger. The narrator asked him about her hair, but the man said he did not notice her hair. However, the man said that she was very pretty with beautiful eyes, even though she was blind. This revelation left the narrator surprised. This is an interesting story by Ruskin. The narrator in this story is a blind man traveling on a train. A girl who is also blind boards the train at a station on the way. Neither knows that the other is blind. Through an interesting conversation between the two, we get to have a peep into the world of the blind. The Girl on the Train by Ruskin, we have the theme kindness, determination, independence, perception, memory, desire, and confidence. The young woman may be blind, but she does not allow it to be a stumbling block, which is very similar to the narrator. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you. Bye bye.